NathanIvey.com. Mr. Ivey know the show must go on. And for Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised dogs, close fish, yeah, too strong. Team AI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlative, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info about it? Hey yo, John O. B. the rapper got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of Grippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati Reds at. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 513, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. A beautiful Wednesday. Time to deliver superlative flows. On today's show, I want to talk about, I want to react to the primary election results. There's some very interesting things and maybe some things that can give us some insights as to what we can expect with the general election. Former mayor of Cincinnati, John Cranley, got his wake-up call, so to speak. And so did Nina Turner. We'll talk about the future of Nina Turner and John Cranley this morning. Plus, I got a chance to finish Ozark, which is trending #1 on Netflix right now. I'm not sure you've been hip to that series. 4 seasons in, it just ended. Well, they posted the final, I'm not sure how many episodes it was. I got a chance to watch it, and I want to give you my thoughts. A non-spoiler review. But first, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Shout out to everybody. Vernon writes, he got his arse kicked. Yeah, it wasn't good. It was not good. Today's show is brought to you in part by the good folks behind the All You Can Eat Mother's Day Southern Swank event. Do something very special for the mother in your life. Tickets are going fast. If you're interested, I just found out yesterday they're going to close it off on Saturday. So it won't be a Sunday morning type of thing. Someone asked me. So you can purchase tickets up until Saturday. On Sunday, they're going to cut it off because Sunday is Mother's Day. That's right. They got you covered at the Above and Beyond Planning and Event Center. This will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Do something extremely special, something unique for the mother in your life. Tickets are $50. You can purchase them at Wingstop, but you can also purchase them online. And if you're interested in learning more about it, all you have to do is click the link in today's description, and you can check it out for yourself, and you can read about the full menu and everything they are offering. A live performance by Just Vince. Your chef will be Liz Rogers. That's right, the one and only Liz Rogers. She will be taking care of you, and you'll be taking care of the mother in your life. This could be for the woman that blessed you with a child. It could be for your mother, your mother-in-law, or maybe a family member, a friend. I think it's going to be an awesome event. Check them out. Good morning to you. Yeah, we made it. We back. Good morning. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Also, we have Rosemary with Rosemary's Babies. We got a caller in yesterday. It just reminded me, and I've been planning on reaching out to her. So I reached out to her. She's going to give us a call, perhaps Zoom style, this morning at 9 a.m. And she's opening up, she's doing something very special in Avondale. And I just want to get an update from her as to what's going on and how people can be involved if you're interested. So that's at 9 a.m. this morning. Live, local, and vocal. I'm based in the greater Cincinnati area. We talk a lot about what's happening in Cincinnati and beyond. Good morning to you. Daryl writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. What's up, Roots? What's up, Vernon? What's up? Daryl Carpenter, what's up, man? I saw the pictures of you and your family, man. I'm glad to see the surgery was good for your wife, Daryl. And again, I was sending you positive vibes all day yesterday, as I'm sure a lot of other people were. So I hope the wifey is doing well. Tabitha writes, good morning. Let's chop it up. Tabitha, let's do it. Vernon writes, he got his ass kicked. Let's just jump straight into it. Yeah, the primary was yesterday. When I went to my polling location in the Clifton area, it was just me and the wife. And we walked in, nobody was in there, and we were in and out. We took our son with us because we had picked him up from his aftercare, and it was just convenient. But it's good for him to see us do those kind of things. It sets the expectation for him when he gets older. And he'll be whoever he's going to grow up to be is who he's going to grow up to be. But we're setting a foundation for who we are and what we believe, and we're demonstrating it. So we were in and out in make 5-6 minutes. Wasn't really long. The ballot wasn't that big at all. And then in some of the stuff, I mean, you had a lot of people running unopposed, and it was kind of like, do you want to vote them just like a vote of confidence, just to show your support, or do you want to leave it? You want to leave it? You want to leave it? You just don't want to vote in that particular election. And but people had a big decision to make in terms of the Democrat primary for governor. And you had Nan Whaley, who is the former mayor in Dayton, against the former mayor of the city of Cincinnati. Now, I'm based in the city of Cincinnati, as are many of you. And so we're very familiar with John Cranley's track record. And I spent some time yesterday and before, days and days and weeks before that, years before that, lamenting the term of John Cranley. As I stand here again, I'll still say I don't know what the man actually accomplished. I still don't know what he accomplished. I know it was a lot of bullshit that happened while he was the mayor, but what did he actually do? I don't know. I don't know. Other people can sing his praises and list his superlatives. I have no idea. I know that he had an issue with black leadership. I know that. I do know that after the summer of social unrest, his curfew and the unlawful detainment of a lot of protesters, I know about that. But beyond, I do know that he promised he was going to lift 5,000 kids out of poverty and never did it. But other than that, I don't know what John Cranley did. And apparently, I'm not alone, because he got shellacked by Nan Whaley. I think she got 60% of the vote, 60+% of the vote, shellacked her. And from what I'm understanding, she even was very competitive, if not beat him, in Hamilton County. How you get beat in Hamilton County, John? And that's because people can see. They know. They already know. And they wasn't feeling it. And I blame John Cranley. Wherever John Cranley is right now, John, is your fault, because you should have been a better leader, period. If you were a better leader, at least in Hamilton County, then people would have came out for you. People didn't support you. Number one, who are you? And I thought that some of the proposals, specifically what he was saying about marijuana, okay, I'm with that. I get it. But any candidate can get behind that. I don't know if Nan Whaley feels the same way about the legalization of recreational marijuana and how it can provide jobs and things like that. I don't know. But, John Cranley left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And they spoke yesterday. And they said, F you, John. Simple as that. So what's next for John? I don't know. Is he going to run for something in the city again? I don't know. But as I sit here right now, I don't have no confidence. I wouldn't vote if I was casting a movie and I had I wouldn't cast John Cranley to play John Cranley. I have no confidence in him whatsoever. Now, whenever I see former Mayor John Cranley, he's always nice to me. Says great things about me in the show. That's cool. But so fucking what? And, what did you do? What didn't you do? And that's the reason why Hamilton County didn't turn out for you. Scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal after bullshit after bullshit after bullshit after black leader after black leader after. I mean, it just got old. And, I bet you inside Democrat circles, I haven't been told this or talked to any of my Democrat friends. I bet you they like, yeah, behind closed doors. It is what it is. So now for governor, it's going to be Nan Whaley, white female, all-female ticket. They made history in Ohio. Never before has an all-female ticket been nominated by a major party to run for governor. She's a black female, could be the lieutenant governor of Ohio, first time ever, against the incumbent Mike DeWine, who has no spine. And as I sit here right now, I know where I'm leaning toward. But I think we got a sign that Trump still has a lot of sway in Ohio, because the Senate nominee, J.D. Vance, actually won, and that was Trump's guy. So Trump still has a lot of sway. I'll never understand it. When I see people, that are under the cult of Trump, I don't think highly of them. I'll be honest with you. I feel like either they're ill-informed, misinformed, or just not too bright, and or a combination of all of it. Now, you might say, Nate, why are you calling names and things like that? Well, I don't mean to, but that's how I honestly feel. I just don't understand why anybody would ever support any goddamn thing that Trump says, but it is what it is. He still has sway. Again, Ohio is a red state. It's not a blue state. It's not a purple state. Ohio's a red state. So it looks like it's going to be an uphill battle for Nan Whaley. We'll see. We'll see. You have to wait and see. 513-873-7134. Nina Turner, she lost in her campaign against Shontel Brown. People said no again. Now, is it because she's a progressive, or is it because there's something about Nina Turner and the way that she sells herself? I don't know. I want to get your thoughts. A lot of smart people in the room. You tell me. Is it the district? Is it the fact that she's on that progressive tip? Is it because she's dark skinned? Is it because of she was on the Breakfast Club? I don't know. When I hear Nina Turner, she makes a whole lot of damn sense to me. Nina Turner was backed by AOC. Yeah, AOC. Could it be that? I don't know. I'm interested in hearing what you think this morning. 513-873-7134. Vernon writes, he got his ass kicked. Regina writes, good morning. Roy writes, good morning, everyone. Yeah. And hopefully this will be a look at yourself in the mirror, right? Cue to Michael Jackson. Look at the man in the mirror, John Cranley. What exactly did you do? Well, one thing you didn't do is you didn't lift them kids out of poverty. Had you lifted those kids out of poverty or put a serious effort into lifting those children out of poverty, then people might have been like, oh, okay, he really for the people. But you didn't do that, John Cranley. You talked a whole lot of bullshit. You got reelected and didn't do shit, period. Except perhaps some would say work with the FBI. I've heard that many times before. I don't know. Could be. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. No tears for John Cranley. So, and what? And big deal. Move on with your life. We don't want you to represent us to do a gosh darn thing. Move on. Go back to the private life, and I don't know, what was he, a developer or something like that? Go develop some houses. Now, I support the work he did with the Innocence Project. I think it's A1. He gets a lot of credit in my book for that. John Cranley gets a lot of credit for his involvement in working with the Innocence Project. And that's about it. That's where it ends. Would I have chosen John Cranley over Mike DeWine? That's a hell of a choice between a man with no penis and a man with no spine. That's a hell of a choice. And I don't have to make that choice. So it doesn't really matter at this point. We want a governor with a penis and a spine, preferably. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Good morning to you. Kelly writes, good morning. Tanika writes, good morning, Nathan the Choppers. Brandy writes, greetings. Joe's in the house. What's up, Joe? He writes, halfway through the work week. Absolutely. Anthony writes, like and share, fam. Good morning to you. Good morning, Anthony and everybody. Yeah, what do you think about John Cranley getting shellacked? How do you lose? I mean, your roots are here in Hamilton County. How do you lose to Nan Whaley and she in Dayton? That's because the people don't feel you. We don't believe you. We don't believe you. We have no confidence in you because you had a shot at leadership and look at what you did. I'm not sure. People talk about, he increased the number of money for minorities. Yeah, sure he did. I mean, number one, let me look at the numbers. And if that's true, is that something that's particular to him, or was that from the people? And no matter who was in office, something was going to happen. That's what I think. If I said real quick, what did John Cranley accomplish? Nobody can tell me. People would struggle like, he locked up protesters and the judges threw out the convictions and said it was against the Constitution. What exactly did he do? And apparently I wasn't alone in that. Apparently many voters in Hamilton County felt the same way. Just move on, John. It's a wrap. Nat writes, good day, Nate and the Choppers. Janice writes, have a good day, everyone. I'm planning on it. Krista writes, hello, everyone. Good morning. Glenn's in the house. What up, Glenn? He writes, morning, Nate and the Choppers. Sheila writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Brent is in Dallas and checking in. Teresa writes, good morning. Hey, good to see you, Teresa. What's Kathy's in the house? She writes, good morning. Nat writes, I voted for Nan Whaley. Yeah, you and a whole lot. The majority of people voted for Nan Whaley with that Democratic primary ballot. The majority did. Got shellacked. And I could have went down to the party. I didn't even want to go. Because, I mean, I could have went just on some media type shit. But John Cranley didn't even win Hamilton County. That's what's being reported. And they tried their best to use the Black Baptist ministers, right? You know, with the ministers and the first ladies, that shit didn't work because people saw you. You was the mayor for 8 years. You know, your record will always stand in front of you. And then with black people, I'm only speaking for myself and my perception, but my perception I have is that, you know, the mistreatment of the former chief, the mistreatment of the former city manager, the mistreatment of just people in general, it just came out. I heard so much stuff that I never said about the way John Cranley treated people over and over from multiple sources. I'm like, damn, this shit must be true. I'm like, word? Really? Well, it caught up with you. So I'm sure he'll speak with the media first. Let's see who John Cranley speaks with first. He'll probably be, you know, with mainstream media. It is what it is. No problem with that. You know, he was on council for many years, then elected to mayor in 2013, then reelected in 2017. And that's it. That's it. Nan Whaley got 50% of the vote compared to John Cranley's 49.95. So it's very, very close, but still. And from what I'm reading, you know, let's be fair here. From what I read this morning in an article on Cincinnati.com is that there's a lot of absentee ballots. And so it's possible that John Cranley could erase that vote. He could, at least in terms of Hamilton County. From what I read, they said there was a 36 vote deficit out of nearly 40,000 votes cast. And we'll see. It's not going to change anything. If they find 36 votes in Hamilton County, still not going to win, but I guess it could be a moral victory. They like me. They really, really like me. Drop writes, good morning, Choppers. I told you yesterday the Supreme Court leak was for the desperate Democrats and the low enthusiasm among the Democrats' base. You told us yesterday that the Supreme Court leak was for the desperate Democrats and the low enthusiasm among the Democrats' base. Okay. Good morning to you. Jenny writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Happy Wednesday. TNT writes, good morning. Teresa writes, I voted early. Daryl writes, my wife is home listening with me. She said, thank you for all the prayers and well wishes. Now the journey to fight this cancer began. Okay. Well, at least emotionally and spiritually, you know, we're with you. Absolutely. 100%. Family is everything. I got a wifey. Listen, I feel that shit, man. That's not a game. That C word is not nothing to be played with. And I wish her a speedy recovery. I hope she beats it. I know she will. Sandra writes, good morning. Avondale is hot. Good people make a difference. Need voter education so we can vote smart. Again, people vote their future. Great show. Thank you so much, Sandra. TNT writes, Cranley can take a long seat. Yeah, just go sit down, John. We don't want you. Nobody wants you. You're going to start from the grassroots again. Start all over again and remake yourself. Because, again, as I sit here right now and I honestly, sincerely mean this, I don't know what he accomplished in 8 years. I have no idea. If you ask me what did he do where I can say, yeah, this was John Cranley, I can't really tell you that. I have no idea. Other than, you know, the way he played the former police chief. That was a travesty. I'm still pissed about that. That was an absolute travesty. The way that whole thing got played out. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to do something like that, just do it expeditiously. Just do it quick. You know what I'm saying? You don't let shit like that linger on and linger on. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And it impacted that man's career. For what? So you can make a point that you're the boss, I guess. Mika writes, good morning, choppers. Happy hump day. Make it a great day. Kathy writes, Cranley underestimated Northern Ohio and overestimated Southern Ohio. Brent writes, Cranley got beat by 30 points. That's an old-fashioned whooping with the switch that you picked. Charles writes, glad to see the West Side white boy. That's what he is now, West Side white boy. Didn't win. Okay. Daryl writes, yeah, I'm glad she whooped him in the primaries. I know I voted for her. I can't stand John Cranley. Let's go to the phones. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Drop Squad. Good morning, sir.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I really didn't want to be the first call of the day.
Oh, really?
I wanted to wait till the end of the show, but I was waiting to listen to your monologue. And then when you read my post and acting, because I see your face, Nate, you're trying to act like you're confused and you didn't know what I meant by the post. You know exactly what I meant. And I'm surprised, again, it's your show. I'm surprised you're not talking about what happened across the country yesterday when women and men who love them took to the streets, Nate, over the Supreme Court leak of the memo that's suggesting that Roe v. Wade will be sent back to the states. And again, Nate, I told you yesterday on the show, the leak was strategic in its timing because the Democrats needed some enthusiasm in their base. And yesterday, across the country, it was everywhere, Nate. I thought it was 2020 all over again. Now, again, we have to wait and see. But if you listen to the fallout, mainly this morning on Morning Joe, the first political show of the day, they were spinning the leak as if it was Clarence Thomas' wife. Now, again, Nate, the images yesterday of the protests across the country, every Democrat politician trying to hijack this issue and say, oh, yeah, you see now, you can't let those Republicans get in the midterms. You got to go vote. You got to save your right to kill babies. Mr. Ivey, I keep telling you, sir, the Democrats in their desperate need to keep the shellacking that's coming in November to around 30 seats because they know if it's over 50, they're in huge trouble for the remaining 2 years of President Biden's term and the upcoming 2024 presidential election. So again, Nate, it's all clear. And what you mean it's not clear?
I didn't say it wasn't clear. I said you're such a hypocrite, sir. You're such a hypocrite.
Okay, well, first of all, did you look at the turnout numbers yesterday in Ohio?
Did I look at the turnout numbers? No.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, the projected turnout is under 25%, Nate. Some projections are 20 to 25%. On the low end, 15 to 18%, because I know some parts of Ohio, there was tornado warnings or storms or something like that. But again, across Ohio, the first major primary of the primary season this summer, and it was mainly because of J.D. Vance, not Tim Ryan, not the Democrat candidate for Senate, but the Republican candidate who was backed by Donald Trump at the last minute, and he put J.D. Vance over the top. Now, again, that's Ohio politics. I don't know anything about J.D. Vance or Tim Ryan.
That's Trump's boy.
Looking at what happened, what's that?
J.D. Vance is Trump's boy. But you remain,
no.
J.D. Vance is Trump's boy.
Nate, he has not always been Trump's boy.
Doesn't matter what he has always been. Right now, he's Trump's boy.
Okay, so what does that tell you about Trump's hold over the Republican Party, which the Democrats keep trying to convince Republican voters that Trump is not the man? He is the man. And it's proven with the J.D. Vance endorsement.
I don't think the Democrats are trying to. I never heard any Democrats say that.
Nate, J.D. Vance was in third place before Trump endorsed him, and he shot to the top.
I acknowledged it in my monologue that Trump has sway in Ohio. Ohio is a red state. So am I surprised by that? No.
Okay, well, again, like I said, Nate, yesterday Ohio was the first primary.
What we need to talk about, my brother, is
what's that?
What we need to talk about, my brother, is the fact that you are a hypocrite.
I'm very consistent, Nate. I've been consistent for 4 years since I've been calling your show. How am I a hypocrite?
Let me tell you how
you can't. Okay, first of all, go ahead.
You asked me a question. Let me tell you, because when the Republicans do dirt or make moves or do things, you explain away as, oh, that's politics. That's the game of politics. When the Democrats do it, somehow it's an indictment on them. It's an indictment on it, trying to pull a wool over the eyes of the people. I remember us having a conversation about the way that sister, Ketanji Brown Jackson, was treated by the Republicans in the Senate. And what did you say? Oh, that's just politics, Nate. That's just politics.
Right. And I predicted that too. I told you the reason. But
you're not consistent. So when the Democrats make moves, no, you're
Mr.
not.
Ivey,
no,
I'm consistent.
When the Democrats make moves,
oh my God,
and pull games and do these kind of things, all of a sudden it's an indictment. Why don't you just say it's politics? It's just a game of politics.
Mr. Ivey, see, you hear what you want to hear when it comes to me.
No,
okay.
Sir.
How many times have I said, Mr. Ivey? How many times have I said politics is not about the truth? It's about what you can get people to believe.
That's irrelevant.
You've heard me say that, but you've heard me say that.
That's
okay,
irrelevant.
and since you brought up Judge Jackson, you remember there was also a leak from the Supreme Court that suggested that Justice Breyer was going to retire sooner than he had planned. And then all of a sudden, at the time again, Nate, it was strategic. President Biden was losing support among Black voters. So here's the opportunity to put Judge Jackson in front of everybody, in front of all those white racist Republican senators, and try to use them to raise money, to do campaign ads, and everything happened the way I predicted.
See, look at you.
That
makes no sense what you just said, sir. It makes no sense.
I know nothing makes sense to you, Nate.
If it makes sense, sir, it makes sense. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. What you just said is more of this. When the Republican Party does something to Black people, you say, oh, it's just politics. Somehow the Democrats made those Republican senators ask all of those demeaning questions of that sisters. Wait a minute. That's not the Democrats' fault. You got to land that squarely on the backs of the people who actually made those statements. The Republican senators. But instead of doing that,
Nate,
you want to find a way to blame the Democrats. All I'm saying is, to me, there's enough blame to go around. But you are biased.
Okay.
All you see is one side. And it's
what the hell you expect?
I'm just saying.
What do you mean?
What do I expect? I expect for you to be able to say right is right and wrong is wrong, and you struggle with that.
Nah, bullshit. But because Nate, if you remember when I got banned from Twitter and I started over. I said I'm gonna come with a whole new name and everything, and I came up with Black Not Democrat. You were the one that tried to tell me, oh, that's wrong, Nate. You should be black not partisan. Some bullshit like that. I'm not down the middle.
How is that?
It is because you're trying to.
I'm telling you
you're
right
trying
now.
to tell me. No, you're trying to tell me which way I'm supposed to spew my political rhetoric. I am a registered Republican.
I'm just holding you accountable. For your
when the junior
that you spew, sir, that's all. I'm just holding you accountable.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I see bullshit. That's all I'm telling you.
Well, that's your choice.
Right.
That's your choice. But again, our government, led by the Democrats, just came up with the Disinformation Governance Bureau. So again, Nate, you or the government can't tell me
about this, but you don't say nothing about the fact that Sean Hannity
what to say.
Was saying yes, sir, to Mark Meadows and taking marching orders.
Oh, see,
and he's got this huge media platform. You don't say nothing about that.
Well,
you're not consistent, sir. And when you're not consistent, you lose credibility.
You know why I don't
I'm
have
trying
to,
to help you, bro, but you're not listening to me.
No. Okay, before I go, let me just tell you this, okay, Nate. The reason I don't have to, because you got junior overseers, you got senior overseers, You got overseers
That's
in
not
training
work, sir.
that call your show, especially the brother Peach from Atlanta.
Oh, so
Big
you're gonna
Booty
jump in
Peach,
there.
whatever he
You're gonna
calls
jump
himself.
in there with the brother. Okay.
No.
You're wrong for that, but okay.
No,
go ahead.
Nate, I'm just telling you, this is what this guy, when he calls in, he always says, well, Drop failed to mention. What do you mean I failed to mention? Oh, Drop. See, he always come on here gaslighting, Drop failed to mention. But see, again, Nate,
because
I love your show, bro.
But Drop, what you have to understand, brother, is
Nate, I failed to mention. Okay.
You'll call in, and again, I love the calls. I love these conversations. This is great for the show, and it's great for me too because I get a chance to hear the other side. But you'll come in with one side and present that like it's the facts and leave out all these other facts. And there's a lot of smart people in this room that read the news and watch the news just like you, and they know the truth. Sir.
Yeah, but they ain't smart enough to pick up the phone and call. And see, this is the tactic that you and the other overseers use. I'm not calling you an overseer, but see, this is what y'all do. Y'all don't focus on what I said. Y'all try to focus on what I didn't say to avoid talking about what I did say. So on that note, Nate, I want to see what the response is going to be because I am the one who will get a response. So I appreciate you taking my call, and you need to work on the turnout, okay? Because the Democrats aren't enthusiastic. Now, maybe abortion, killing babies will excite Democrats. We have to wait and see because next Tuesday, it'll be another primary. So buckle up, Democrats, and stay woke.
You're missing the point, though. It's not really
here we go. Here we go.
It's about who's for the people. No, it's not. It's about who's for the people. That's what it's really all about.
But wasn't it Barack Obama who said elections have consequences?
I mean, he probably wasn't the first, but he did say that.
But again, in order to win an election, people got to show up to vote, baby. And that's all I'm saying. Right now, the Democrats are in desperate need of some enthusiasm. But what happened yesterday
Trump
across
is
the country?
Exciting, so people should vote for the candidates that he rubber stamps because he's excited. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know why you keep bringing up Trump. I have not mentioned that man once.
Conversation, so I can't.
You bring him up. You brought him up. I brought up J.D. Vance. I didn't bring up Trump.
You're right.
You brought up Trump. Okay? So again, Nate, I appreciate it, bro. And I love election season. So again, every Tuesday from here on all the way up to November, there's going to be some type of primary election across this country. And nobody's well, see, I ain't even gonna head down there. I'll save it for later because I want to hear the response to my call. So
what is
on that
it about
note,
the
thanks for taking my
party that you think is so attractive for Black people? I don't get it.
I am not See, I know what you're trying to do, right?
I'm trying to ask a question. I'm searching for understanding. Black, not Democrat, means go Republican, right? Or go what? Independent?
No, see, there you go again. Okay. See, you keep questioning my political savvy. I told you why I picked that name. And it's proof right here with you.
Because it sounds good?
Because when a Black man attaches to Republicans, they lose credibility. But if a Black man is connected to a Democrat, everybody listens.
Okay,
and that's why I picked the name, Nate. That's why I picked the name Black, not Democrat. You got people out here, even fucking sorry-ass Glenn, trying to convince people that I'm white. He knows that I'm Black, and he's perpetuating this myth because of what I'm saying and because of the title of my Twitter handle. I am Black, but I'm not a Democrat.
But you are Republican. You're proud of that.
Mr. Ivey, I've been a Republican since 1988.
Right,
sir.
so it goes back to my point.
I am not.
What is it about the Republican Party that you think is so attractive for Black people?
I told you, for me, it's economics. Nate, look at the numbers, bro. Black people are becoming more and more economically savvy when it comes to voting, and they are not falling for this, make the rich pay their fair share. Oh, the rich this, the rich that. Black people are like, what the fuck? I want to be rich. So you telling me, Democrat, if I become rich, that you gonna somehow vilify me, shame me, and kick me out of the Democrat Party? See, Nate, again, it's 2022,
That's
bro.
what you get from all
the
of that?
tactics
Okay,
that
that's
the
interesting.
Democrats and the Democrat Party and the Republican Party, they're still using political tactics and strategies from the freaking 60s. Mainly the Democrats are, because they hold 80 to 90% of the black vote. But if you look at the numbers, Nate, I sent you the poll from CNN. The numbers of the black support among black conservatives is the reason why the Democrats are losing support, and Joe Biden, who had 87% approval of black voters when he took office January 20th, now in 2022, Nate, that number is down to 67%. He has lost 20% of support in less than 2 years,
I'd
Nate.
have to look at the numbers
and
myself and then compare. I would have to look at those numbers myself. If we're going to be fair, I have to look at the numbers myself, and then I have to compare.
You're not going to look at it, let alone show it.
Administrations and look at their midterm results. I don't know if this is something that happens whenever you have an incumbent, I think, and then you have a midterm. I don't know. But why do you think that is? If black people, if voters in general are less enthusiastic about Joe Biden, why do you think that is?
It's because how the Democrats have taken local issues and made them national. Okay, so again, Nate, when a black voter who lives in the city of Cincinnati and they're having problems with their city official, they think that Joe Biden and the Democrats in Congress are going to solve it. And the Democrats will look at that local issue, instead of pointing out the Democrat representative in that district, they'll say, oh, it's those Republicans in Congress that's stopping us from passing a bill to send money to your district to solve your local issue. And that's why, Nate, that's why black voters and a lot of Democrats don't show up in the midterms, because they don't think it matters. They think the only political power that matters to them is from Washington, D.C., not from their local politicians. You just explained what happened in your primaries. Nate, look at the turnout. Nate, look at the turnout. That is proof.
But it's a midterm election. The turnout is historically low during midterm elections. This is a primary. The turnout is always going to be lower than a general election.
But Nate,
across
you're
the country, everywhere.
I know, but Nate, you're missing the strategy that the DC Democrats are using to try to drive enthusiasm, because they know they're going to lose way more than the 5-seat majority that they hold. They're looking at their projected internal polling, Nate, that shows them at this point losing between 35 to 45 seats. And the Democrats know if that number is above 45 seats, they are in big trouble. Republicans are going to start investigations. They may even impeach President Biden. They're going to destroy whoever is going to run in 2024.
And that's good for black people.
Democrats. And right now, it's either going to be Kamala Harris or it's going to be Joe Biden, or it could be Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders. I don't know, Nate. But again, it's going to be determined in this midterm election and these primaries this summer what strategy the Democrats and Republicans are going to use for 2024. Because again, like you said, the scary orange man, the first gangster president, is looming big over all of the politics in this country, and he ain't even president. So again, Nate, I appreciate you taking all this time with me, and I've tried to leave twice, so maybe the third time is the charm. But thanks for taking my call, Nate. I want to hear what other people have to say. You're welcome. And like I said, bro, this is just the beginning of the election season, and I can't wait. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace out, Chopper.
My little bro that man is incorrigible. Did you hear that nonsense? Oh my God, just an element that the best bullshit has a little bit of truth in it, don't it? The best bullshit has a little bit of truth. Glenn writes, Nina Turner lost because she's on the Bernie Bros and Bay tip. Could be. That's what I'm wondering, is because she's a progressive? Is that why? Brent writes, Nate, don't forget There are a lot of Trump supporters that are flat out grifters like Candace Owens, J.D. Vance, Rafael Eduardo Cruz, and Marco Rubio. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, bro. What's up?
Good morning, Daryl.
What's going on, Nate?
Doing well.
Hey, about yesterday, I know I said it to you in the DM, but I'm not going to go off any tangents to offend people. So, I'm not about that. Just let some stuff get under my skin. So I had to let it out.
All right.
So we're going to move on from that. And I hope Fame is doing better since, he had, a medical condition, and I wish him well. With that said, Trump, the dude does he make up stuff? It was said yesterday, the report came out yesterday that Chief Justice John Roberts confirmed that draft of the opinion by Justice Alito was real. It was real. He confirmed it. Then, coupled with that fact, he's going to have an investigation. Now, people are wondering, like, why aren't you having an investigation about Justice Thomas and his relationship with his wife's influence on his decisions, on court decisions. But with that said, he's going to investigate who leaked it. Okay, so who leaked the draft? So they're going to be going through that, trying to figure out who did it. Once again, Nate, help me out here. How is he pinning that on the Democrats? That don't even make sense. I told you yesterday.
Sounds like he was listening to Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson. That's what it sounds like.
That had to come from a clerk. What I would say, a Republican. Well, what I'll say is one of the conservative justices' clerks. So that's 6 justices and their clerks. So it's going to be it's not going to be somebody from the left. That was put out there. Matter of fact, it's probably from John Roberts' clerk, to be honest with you, because he believes the theory behind John Roberts is he's conservative, but he's an institutionalist. And this opinion drafted by Alito was a bridge too far, because it went extreme radical right. It doesn't recognize settled law, or, as I pointed out, stare decisis. It doesn't. He just upended precedent. And people are like, well, what does that mean? That means that they can go back and look at Brown v. Board of Education. They can go back and look at civil rights. Everything that was settled and became law through the Supreme Court, they can go back and overturn it. That's what that means. So y'all can play if y'all want to, but y'all better get out and vote. Now, I was looking at the numbers. The numbers, like you said, the numbers for the primaries are typically low. They're lower anyway. But what overall? The Republicans weren't that much further ahead. That was a hotly contested primary on the Republican side. But don't let J.D. Vance in. That dude. There are no good choices. Tim Ryan leans more to the conservative Democrat. He's not. He never has or never was a Trump supporter. He just may not be as progressive. As far as Nina Turner, man, she got her clock cleaned. she just. I hear what Nina's saying, but I think what did her in, wasn't she the one? Didn't she say something really negative about Obama?
I don't recall. I don't
know
recall.
if it was Obama. Well, I think she just rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And when you're in politics or trying to be on a national level and you're carrying Bernie, I mean, even the squad has lost its luster to a certain degree. I mean, I understand they're pushing, but they sometimes I just think they need to chill out, because at this point I'm about winning. Are you progressive enough? Are you this or that? Man, I'm about the numbers. We need to get the numbers in the House, the numbers in the Senate, so we can keep this stuff from going, full blown right, which it's poised to do. And that's what I'm about. I mean, you got people like calling in and talking about the desperate Democrats. And I'm like, man, just stop. I mean, okay, we know you're a Republican. You're proud to be a Republican. You're proud to be doing the shuffling and jiving for the white nationalist party in blackface. So just, keep doing your job, but don't bring that in here. I mean, we're trying to actually move our people forward. And he keeps talking about there's a lot of black conservatives, they're not feeling the Democratic Party. Man, he's talking about FBA and all ADOS and all those groups. And Glenn just said they ran him out on Twitter Spaces, and when he comes in talking that nonsense, they get on him and they don't even know what the hell they talking about. They don't even understand how the system works. They're talking about setting up an office of reparations. I'm like, what the fuck? Excuse my language. How are you going to have an office of reparations when the court just overturned precedent in Roe v. Wade? Where the fuck? I'm like, do you understand how this shit works? I'm like, come on, people. Listen to that stuff on Twitter and don't even know how civics works. Don't even understand how government works. Pick up a damn book. Listen to some people with some credibility. Read articles that speak to how things work. I mean, I'll recommend Ellie Nestall's book. What is it? The Constitution, a Perspective from a Black Man? I forgot the title of it. I know I butchered it. But read that. And he's entertaining. Get it on audio, if you don't want to read the book. But, I mean, damn. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, people, look. This is the bottom line. We can't be like, I don't like them and I don't like them and I like them. And he said this way back when. He said this 25 years ago. Look, would y'all vote for Hillary Clinton today if you had to do over between her and Trump? Well, she said super predators. She was against the deal. So y'all would put Trump back in office. I'll be like, I ain't voting for her. And you got this mess on the Supreme Court. Man, people, get out of your feelings. Get out of your feelings and think strategically. This ain't about your feelings. This is about how do we use our leverage in the Democratic Party as of right now. That could change, but as of right now, the Democratic Party, how do we use our leverage to get the things that's going to put us in a better position? And it's about those issues. It's not about how I feel and I don't like her and she put hot sauce in her pocketbook. I mean, come on, man. That's some dumb shit.
You sound like me, man. I felt the same way. I'm like, wait a minute. There's a bigger picture here. Like the Supreme Court. There's a bigger picture.
Yeah.
Here. Get it. I don't like what she said.
I'm going back to. Yeah. Go ahead, Nate. I'm sorry, Nate.
No, you go ahead. Miss your call. Go right ahead.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, we're going to worry about, she playing the black people. She's she ain't serious. She ain't authentic. She's this and that. And I'm like, wish she had put up 3 conservative justices from the Federalist Society. The answer is no. Will women's rights be at stake as we speak right now? No. I mean, what what part of this picture don't you understand? Like I gave y'all a recommendation. I'm gonna give it again. I think it's on Netflix or Amazon. It's one of the two. But if you had those, go in and do something. If you have a little time this weekend, go in and look at Man in High Castle, because that talks about what would have happened if the Nazis would have won and Japan, Nazi and Japan, imperialistic Japan took over the United States back in the 40s, and how that would have played out. And the gist isn't so much, well, that was back then. The gist is the mentality. The mentality was, and I'll give you a little tip, the mentality was when it came down to it, and I'm not saying all white people, but when it came down to it, if it was between America and their whiteness and the Nazis took over, you know what they chose? They chose their whiteness over America. It's all this patriotic bullshit. You see it right now. Get out of your feelings and start looking at the facts. Stop listening to people like Drop. He's doing it for entertainment, and he's doing it for kicks and giggles, and ain't shit funny. Not to me. As far as people out there, I'm not against reparations, but look, let's be honest. Right now, reparations ain't gonna happen. I'm for studying it. I'm for getting it. But right now, you don't even have it in place. You got to have a president willing to do it. You got to have a Congress willing to do it. And you only have the majority in one part of Congress, and you're 50-50 in the Senate. And then you got a 6-3 conservative bench that's going to uphold it. Look at what the structure, people. And people, well, ain't no vote reparations with it. I'm like, okay, so this goes full fascist. How you gonna get your damn reparations? You'll laugh in your damn face. Like I said last night on Twitter Space, the goal is to eradicate us. What does that mean? Do they want to kill all of us? No, some of us, not all of us. The other part of that is they want an apartheid state. Go back and look at South Africa. That's what they want. They want an apartheid state. You know why they want this goes into Roe v. Wade. You know why they want to eliminate abortion? Because they see the people in poverty, they see that as their lower class working for them and serving them, the people with money, which is white. That's what it's about. Peace out, Nate. I'm getting worked up here. So have a nice day, brother.
Appreciate the call, Daryl. He took the high road with fame. I appreciate that. We got Rosemary with Rosemary's Babies coming on, but real quick, I want to make a point, just to underline a point he just made, is that I love what I'm hearing from FBA. As a black person, why would I ever be against something called foundational Black Americans? But what I will say is that sometimes when I hear their arguments, it sounds like they're playing Candyland when they should be playing chess. Like, he's right about that. I'm for reparations, but it's going to start with a study, because you got to figure out who gets what and how you. When I hear people saying, well, how are we going to start with a study? That makes sense. If you FBA and you for reparations, what you need to do is research those social conservatives and research how they've been attacked in the Supreme Court and follow what they did. You're talking about a 10, 20, 30-year plan. You know what I'm saying? They've been doing this shit for years. They ain't new to this. They're playing high-level chess. While I see other people, sometimes in our community, playing Candyland, and you're just never going to win. It's just, that's a long-term strategy. It's not going to be 1 term or 2 terms. It may not be within our lifetime. But if you play smart and you think long-term, you can make it happen. I definitely believe that. But you can't play Candyland with this, and everybody else is playing high-level chess. I'll leave it like that. But let me go to the phones. Not the phones, but we got her on Zoom. Hey, good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for your time this morning.
Oh, no problem. Anytime. Love the show. So I try to listen as much as I can.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. And, someone called in yesterday and they just reminded me, because you've been on my mind. I've been sort of watching and following what you're doing with your company and the efforts you're trying to make in Avondale. And then when I got that call yesterday, I was like, let me just reach out to her and just get an update as to what's happening. So what's going on for folks who are not aware of what you're doing and what you're trying to do? Can you talk about that? And then kind of bring us up to speed as to where you are right now.
Yeah. So my name is Rosemary Oglesby Henry. I'm the CEO and founder of the Rosemary's Babies Company. For those that don't know, we are the kind of premier agency in Cincinnati that supports teen parents and families. We opened our doors in 2016. And since that time, we've helped about 1,200 families in greater Cincinnati. We provide any services from emergency car seats, emergency transportation. We do parenting education, workforce development. We even will help young parents if they're trying to get their first apartment. So we might help them with furniture, a deposit up to a certain limit. We help them during COVID. Everyone was confined and our doors weren't open. Because we're a smaller agency, our offices were smaller. And so we would actually send out gift cards directly to the teen parents and not to the parent, because a lot of that money doesn't trickle down. It's like politics. It doesn't trickle down. So we want to get the help in the hands of the parent, of the teen parent, so that they can take care of their children. As COVID hit, we started to realize that a lot of the teen parents that we served were homeless and were house hopping. They were being ejected from their homes. They were just leaving because of abusive situations. There was a lot of different reasons, but most of the time there was some type of conflict between parent and child, and the parent ejected the child from the home with their baby. Though this is illegal, what we found was when the police might show up, say, for example, the teen mom calls the police like, hey, my mom's trying to put me out. There becomes this debate between, oh no, she was disrespectful and this is why I'm doing this. And now this teen parent has like charges, and they're still going to be homeless when the police walk away. But anyway, 35% of the teens we were currently serving were homeless and house hopping. Rosemary's Babies Company, we weren't looking into housing. We were 3 years old in 2019 when we discovered this, 2020. And so we immediately began talking to city officials, Lighthouse, United Way, Cradle Cincinnati, what is it called? The Lighthouse Runaway Shelters, Bethany House. Hey, who's going to help these parenting teams? And what we found was, if you were a teen that was pregnant, then you could go to organizations like Lighthouse Mecum and get support. But if you were a teen that actually was caring for your child, whether you were a mother or a father, there were no resources available if you are under the age of 18. So these kids are currently homeless. So during COVID, they didn't have anywhere to go. So Rosemary's Babies Company was like, okay, we are supposed to be the advocate, the go-to for teen parents. We have to step up. And so we began looking for a property in 2020 through the Port Authority. We found a property. It was like kind of beat the heck down. Y'all know those properties look like garbage sometimes, but we weren't able to get the first property. It was in Avondale. That's where 35% of the teens we serve live. They wouldn't let us get that property. They're like, it's zoning issues, whatever. So the port kind of guided us to a property on Reading Road. Most people know this property. It's huge. It's a big red brick building, cat a corner from the Belvedere. It's on a corner of Reading Road in Lenox. It's 6,400 square feet. It has sat dormant, blighted, and abandoned for about 15 years. It used to be a nursing home, I believe. We started to work with the port to get this property. Most people might have heard in 2020, the city awarded us $184,000 towards this project. The project is called the Holloway House and Resource Center. So Rosemary's Babies Company said, okay, we're going to take this property and we're going to make it into housing support on the second floor. And we're going to put our current operations on the first floor and make this into a resource center that anyone in the community could use, but more importantly, our teen parents could use. We don't know if COVID is coming back, so we want to make sure that they have a place to go so they could get jobs, that they could do their high school diploma, that they could even learn how to drive a car, because we're planning on putting a simulator in that building. Our board chair is all about STEM and tech, and he now moved from Toyota Procter & Gamble. So we're working with all these different people to put together this great plan for a property that has been overlooked for many years, for teen parents that have been overlooked and ostracized. It just made sense. It made more sense to have it in Avondale/North Avondale because that area has a history of generational pregnancy and poverty. And they are moving towards trying to elevate that neighborhood, but they're still missing a lot of resources for their population of people whose median income is normally below $35,000. And most people in that area don't have high school diplomas, and they're just your everyday working person. And their babies are having babies. So we started on this plight to get this property. The Port Authority, I think that's the last time I came on your show, Nathan. The Port Authority gave us some very strict terms in order to get this property. Most people were like, she's crazy. Their organization is crazy. They won't be able to do it. So the port was like, okay, we'll put you under this term agreement for 6 months. And if you meet these terms, we will allow you to buy the property. Some of those terms included raising the entire renovation cost. The entire renovation cost, because we just kind of did one time, kind of quotes just to get a construction budget. So those renovation costs were about $1 million. The port said, Rosemary, even though you got degrees, a master's degree, business degrees, we need you to get a business coach, and we need you to go through an entrepreneurial class. Okay, we'll do that too. They wanted a business plan, a 10-year pro forma budget. I mean, the amount of vetting that our organization had to go through, it was extreme because they gave us a very limited time. But it allowed us to look at the foundation and the structure of our organization and make it more sustainable. But more than that, a 3-year-old nonprofit that started on this journey is now a 5-year-old nonprofit that is sustainable, has increased income, and now has a 5-year outlook for what our organization is going to look like. A 3-year-old nonprofit leader that was kind of wet behind the ears is now a nonprofit leader that is sitting at main tables talking about development and policy, and not only the local level, but the national level and state levels. So we had to level up in order to get this done. Our term option ended on March the 28th. We were given these extreme terms because the North Avondale community didn't want us there. They did not want us there. Teen parents is going to bring violence. This is going to be a group home. We heard everything. This woman doesn't have anybody backing her. She doesn't have any ideas on how to renovate this property or if it's going to get done. But we met the terms. Melvin Gravely, I don't know if you know him or not. He wrote a book called Dear White People. He is the CEO of Triversity Construction, the #1 minority construction company right now in Greater Cincinnati. He was a teen father. He stepped up. He says, we're going to help her. And his entire team did. Moody Nolan, architect, Vince Terry, great guy. The Moody Nolan architect stepped up there, said, we're going to design the architectural design for this property so she can grow in it. They walked through the property and they're like, what's your vision? And so they put it on paper, and we had buy-in. Rosemary's Babies Company raised a $1 million capital stack. Most people are like, this girl got $1 million. No, not necessarily. But we had to have $1 million capital stack for that renovation. That $1 million came from money that we are expecting from the state. That money came from $500,000 that we raised in pledges, including some outside resources like Cheryl Pelote Williamson, who was my national executive coach, amen. And she donated $60,000 towards this project. She lives in Texas. So we had outside people coming in saying, we love what she's doing. We're going to help her. But the people in Cincinnati were very standoffish, and we didn't really get the backing that we needed. But we're like, once we get the property, we know people will see our vision and they'll buy in. So we hit the goal. And, we hit the goal, and at every strike, we raised the money. We put out the business plan. I mean, we were vetted. Next is where I think the young man called in yesterday, because here comes your next red line that we have to cross. Community engagement. North Avondale on Monday was given time to give their concerns about whether or not they want us to have this property in a very formal community engagement event. It was on a Zoom. Anyone could have came. There was about 58 people on that call. Some of the key concerns, they had racial undertones. They were very discriminatory in nature. And it basically led to these teen parents are going to bring violence to our community. This business, and we are a reputable business now, like we're a reputable nonprofit, best in class. That's what I kept using on the call. We're best in class. They basically said this is going to be a hub of poverty that we don't want in the center of our business district. Again, the property is right next door to the Cincinnati Herald. And we're like, wait, this ain't gonna be no hub of poverty. We've never even had to call the police in 5 years. Our teen parents don't fight at this property. We had one person ask, well, how are you gonna protect the moms in the property from the fathers? You know, they might come and jump on them to see their babies. And I'm literally like, what movies have you been watching? You know, because that's not a reality. You never really hear in the news of a teen father breaking down group home doors or transitional living doors to see their baby. So a lot of it is based on stereotype. Another thing that we're facing is it's a very small group of people that oppose this project. They're called the North Avondale Business Association. The North Avondale Business Association is saying Rosemary's Babies Company is not a business, it's a nonprofit. We want a sandwich shop there. And we have said that it is unreasonable to put the weight of your business district on our nonprofit when you have developers in your area, you have architects, and more importantly, this property has sat here for 15 years. Why haven't you moved on it before we did? We're the only people that have come forward and said, okay, we're willing to make the investment. You know, it's a one-time move for us, and it's a moderate scale up for the need of our entire community. And it is a moderate scale up for where our organization is based on revenue and what we can reasonably do with sustaining our organization while also raising this capital and doing this renovation. And so it was a very disheartening conversation for us. The port was on the call, the city, some of the Cincinnati City Council members were on the call, the city planner was on the call. There's no zoning issues with the property, but this community just kept saying, you're going to be a group home. You're going to be a group home. And we're saying, no, we're not. You know, this is not a group home. This is a resource center with housing support, whether that's independent living or transitional housing, or even if we just make it into apartment living, but it's not a group home. And to affiliate danger or violence with a group home, all in itself is discriminatory. It's like when they used to say, you know, thief, black, you know what I mean? Danger, black, you know, black man. And so to say group home and Rosemary's Babies Company, you're affiliating our organization with danger. And that puts me at a different level of, I'm a person that is very humble. I'm a person that is kind, but that puts me on a level of defense because I was a teen parent. But more importantly, it's an offense to my organization. It's an offense to these children that are nonviolent. And again, it's a stereotype of discrimination that keeps people out of your neighborhood. And it is unreasonable and it is illegal, period. And so again, I'm not the person I was a long time ago. And so what will we do now? So after this community conversation, the information is all rallied together and it goes in front of city council. Rosemary's Babies Company is not asking for any kind of special privileges. You asked for this much money for the property. You told us if we did this much amount of work, this would be the outcome. I'm a person that says we checked every box. We crossed every line. Some people say, oh, she is sellout. Why does she do? Guess what? I do what I have to do. So that way I can say when I pinpoint discrimination or I pinpoint racism, I can say, I know that's what it is because I did everything you told me to do. You understand what I'm saying? So in this situation, 3 days before this meeting, for city officials and people that are supposed to represent us, they say, well, Rosemary, we need you to get letters of support. Well, wait a minute. We already did all of this stuff. Why do I got to get letters of support? So a lot of people saw through social media that I was like, hey, can people write a letter saying they support this project? I believe we got in 150 letters of support, but we're like, why do we keep having to cross these red lines and jump these fences when we have proven time and time again as an organization that is leading this cause, that we are credible, that we are capable, and that we had the right people behind us to be able to get this done. And so we're kind of going through a lot behind the scenes. And so, I'm smiling in person, but behind the scenes, my entire team and board are kind of keeping me up. They're lifting me up. So.
Man, thank you for your time this morning. I mean, it's so much to unpack. I could go back. Hopefully, before you got the line, you can teach us a little bit, because you use some terms that I'm not familiar with, and I want you to teach me in as to what they actually mean. But let's just stay where we are right now. So, looking forward, what is the forecast? What's the outlook for you taking that property and beginning your business plan?
The thing is, unfortunately, we don't know. After 18 months of, raising money and being vetted, and even our realtor, having to work with us, Shannon Crutchfield of Coldwell Banker, she's standing idle saying, hey, this is staring, this is illegal. We don't know, because when it goes in front of city council, even though they gave us this money, this $184,000 2 years ago, right now we're in political season, and those council members might be swayed. We don't know where they are, where they sit. But what we are asking again is, quit judging Rosemary, but look at our paperwork. Look at the terms that you set in front of us, and do what you said that you would do. If we did this, and it's not even about, oh, we like her and we're doing it. No, this was an agreement. This was a business deal. You know what I mean? So follow through with the business deal that is at hand. Why is it that nonprofits or more minority leaders have to be liked, or we have to do extra? No, you set the terms and we met them. And I understand that we were the underdogs. We weren't supposed to meet those terms, especially not $1 million capital stack in 6 months. But I was a teen parent. Like I told him, I kind of cracked my neck and was like, let's get it. You know what I mean? I'm Black. I've been through more. Like, I came from Avondale. Like, so to go from being a teen mother to going into Forbes magazine to speaking nationally about a demographic or a group of kids that have never had a voice, it takes a lot to get there. So you giving me these meek terms that, hey, I'm a business major, I can do this with my eyes closed, is nothing. And, again, we have great community support backing us. We got letters from like Dr. Odell Owens, Greater Cincinnati Foundation, United Way, everybody. And we're still, we got $1 million. We got all this backing. We've got all of this stuff. Why can't Rosemary's Babies Company get this property? So now we leave it to the city of Cincinnati, city council members. Are you going to say yes, or are you going to be allowed these people that have these statements or these concerns that are not real, that are very that are kind of filtered with undertones of racism and discrimination? Will you let their voice speak louder than a nonprofit that did the work? Will you let their voice and their ignorance keep teen parents from being housed and getting the support that they need? So that's where we stand.
Is there a vote in the near future? And do you know what that date is? So we can be aware.
Yeah, they have, I want to say they have like 7 days or something like that to review the materials. Rosemary's Babies Company, once we met the capital stack on or the terms on March 28th, we actually had 90 days to close. So we had to have the community engagement event. It has to go in front of the city council, and then it still has to go in front of the community economic development department. I mean, we have what did the caller say yesterday? We have kind of become the standard, for these practices. And again, I'm not saying by any terms that they were easy. No. But if we're becoming the standard, then let the standard response be, if you do all of this, then this will be the result. But you will have to do all of this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. I understand. Wow. You said 2 years ago, council gave you the money. There's a brand new council essentially.
Yes.
Now. So you can have different personalities. Like you said, election season, all that kind of stuff could play into it. I'm glad. That's very interesting. Very interesting. So basically just wait and see for you to see what city council is going to do.
Yeah, we're just kind of waiting in a silo. And while we're doing that, again, we had to raise, again, $1 million within 6 months. That's not really even all the money that we need. Because again, nonprofits run something called capital campaigns. And when you're doing like major renovation and expanding your facility, you want to also make sure that you have the reserves that you need for programming, because we are, expanding our programming. So it's $1 million for renovation, but we still need a reserve in order to hire 10 new personnel in this property. So we still have to raise another $1 million. And this is causing great frustration. Every time I have to walk away from helping the teen parents or, something that I need to do within the mission, here we are being attacked by this neighborhood. And, we need voices. If anybody wants to help, we need voices that are louder than mine. I need leaders to step up and say, this is not right. Again, don't judge us just based on me. If you know me, then like this woman is reasonable and she's worked hard. Rosemary's Babies company started from my basement. You know what I mean? It started from my basement. And I spent 2 years in college researching poverty alleviation and generational impacts, and even biblical, like, okay, what does generational curses look like? And how can we implement all of this in order to change the trajectory of teen parents? And we have been successful. Out of 1,200 teen parents we serve, we've only had 6 that have had dual pregnancies. None of our teen parents have had an infant mortality. So their babies have been born and they're raising them. We divert teen parents from going onto the system. So our teen parents are getting apartments. They're getting jobs. They're graduating from high school. We're telling them, don't allow the system to dictate you to have a life of poverty because you are a parent at a young age. It's just a barrier, but it's not something that you can't move past. And they can look to our board that has more than 50% of our board members were teen parents. I was a teen parent. My daughter is now running our programming. So she sees almost 300 teens a year, virtually and in person. And she was the daughter of a teen parent. So she understands the need. We speak teen parent. Everything about our organization is very much focused.
So to the audience, what can we do? How can we be of support?
What you can do is you can write a letter to your city council people and say, I support this project and why. But more importantly, you can give. There is nothing that you can do greater than to support this project through giving. You can donate. Rosemary'sBabies.co. We take Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. Back the project. Because again, once we open those doors and begin renovation, we'll need the reserve. We'll continue to need support. A lot of Black-led nonprofits are underfunded. We're just lucky to have United Way backing us from the very beginning. United Way started backing us in 2017. And so we kind of went through the storm with them, but they see life in this project. They actually gave us credibility. They were one of the first organizations to give us credibility, but they don't fund us at 100%. We have an operating budget because the more teens that you serve, the larger your operating budget is, the more revenue that you have to bring in. And so we will continue to need support. 90% of the kids that we serve look like me and they look like you. And I'll just say it honestly, like I was a 4th generation teen parent. And that's why Rosemary's Babies company was started. I didn't want to see another teen parent struggle. I didn't want to see another teen parent without help. My kids and my sister and brother's kids aren't teen parents. So I didn't do this because my daughter was a teen parent. I did it to help you all's kids in our community and to help in other communities around the nation. I did this to give them a voice because I didn't have one when I was 16 and my mother didn't have one and my grandmother didn't have one. And so that's what we're doing. We're creating policy and we're supporting our babies. So help us support our babies, Rosemary's Babies.
This might be obvious, but I'm going to ask anyway. You said $1 million stack. What
Yes.
does that mean exactly?
So a capital stack, that's what it's called. It's capital stack. See, I got real smart in the last few years, right? I didn't know what it meant either. So a capital stack is the money to do the renovation or the investment. So a capital stack can be made up of cash, of course, but it can also be loans. It can be for nonprofits. It can be pledges. So if you say, some people are like, I don't have a lot of money, but you can call Rosemary's Babies Company and say, I want to pledge $1,000. I'm going to pay $50 a month. Those pledges are commitments. So we have people, like I said, the lady that contributed $60,000, Miss Cheryl came in and she's like, I'm going to donate $5,000 every 5 months for the next 5 years. It was kind of dope how she did it too, but that's a pledge. That's a commitment. And so we have signed contracts for her to pay that off. And so that's a part of our capital stack. So again, it can be made up of loans. It can be made up of bonds, tax credits, tax abatements. That is all a part of your capital stack. So when you're listening to these people saying, oh, they got a tax exemption or they got a tax abatement, those funds that they're not using towards the property right now or having to pay goes towards their capital stack. So a lot of times in development, you might not have $20 million, but you have a $20 million capital stack because you have loans, investments that might be coming, signed paper saying, okay, we're going to commit $3 million over 5 years for this project. So Rosemary's Babies Company allows for all of that. Like if you want to give stock, you can give stock to Rosemary's Babies Company. And again, we can cash that stock out, save it, and it becomes a part of that capital stack. So when it was reported Rosemary's Babies Company raised $1 million, we raised $1 million capital stack. So that was done through pledges, people's donations, as well as other forms of financing and commitments from the state. So that's what a capital stack is.
Appreciate the clarification. Well, Rosemary, I support you 100%. I think it's a great idea. I think Avondale is the right space for it. It's very concerning that you're dealing with all these headwinds and frustrations and fences. And I'll certainly send a letter off or come down to the city council meeting or sit in a Zoom or whatever you think that would be useful. Just let me know. And whatever's going on, please, the door is always open. You can always come in, hit me up with a message at any time and let us know what's going on.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Like I said, we've been so busy and I do appreciate you giving us a call. A lot of times, I'm a person, again, I'm so busy working behind the scenes. I'm not a person that really likes to confront, out in public and do this charge. But sometimes, I'm reminded that I do need to share our story so that other people understand that we go through too, but also to help other people overcome their challenges and understand you're not at this alone. If this has happened to you, then you're not alone. We go through it too. And like I said, as an organization that supports teen parents, we're already trying to overcome the stigma of, oh, she's helping teen pregnancy, she's promoting teen pregnancy. We're already overcoming that. But now we're having to overcome, again, a different type of stigma from a community of people that don't look like us. And it's a socioeconomic storm. It's classism. It's discrimination in that way.
Right.
So we're facing discrimination on a whole nother level. And again, as a younger organization that started from me just wanting to help people and named it after a scary movie, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, give, write your council person, put me on your prayer list. I always need to be lifted up. And more importantly, if you don't have anything to give and you don't have anything to say, then say nothing. I've heard from a lot of people like, this girl crazy, she ain't gonna raise this, and negative talk from the community. We don't need that. I'm not raising $1 million for myself. I've never even seen $1 million. So I'm like, $1 million? I've never seen that in my whole life. But the thing is, this is greater than me. And when God puts a calling on your life, you have to move, and that's what we're doing. And that's what we intend on doing. They can't stop this mission. They can't stop me,
I love it.
So I thank you.
I love it, Rosemary. Thank you so much for your time. And let's stay connected.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rosemary'sBabies.co. There you go.
Got it. Rosemary's Baby. I'll put it up on the screen as well. Rosemary'sBabies.co. C-O. Wow. Whew, man, she said a lot, didn't she? Woo. Yeah, class remains a big issue in Cincinnati. We're very comfortable with talking about race, but class, that remains a conversation that is not so easy to deal with in the city of Cincinnati. She said a whole lot, but they thought that she wasn't going to be able to do it. Let's be real. They thought she wasn't going to be able to get to this point and meet those early benchmarks. They didn't think she was going to do it. Letty writes, good morning. Are you on this morning? Yeah, we on talking right now, Letty. Come on in. They thought she wasn't going to be able to do it. She did it anyway. They gave her some very challenging terms, we'll put it that way. And she made it happen. I loves it. It makes me wonder what's behind this. Is it a class thing? Is there another plan for that property? She said a sandwich shop. Sandwich shop, I guess. We love sandwiches. But I love what she's doing. I think Avondale is a great spot for it. And like she said, the property sat there with no plans for 15 years. She comes along with a plan. Everybody got a problem now. Somebody's been watching too much Jerry Springer and Maury Povich. I'm not sure the world really works like that, but she seems, I love her admission though. She's like, yeah, it took me from here. I had to step all the way up and now I'm here 2 years later. I loves that. Life gives you lemons, you make it lemonade. They put some hurdles in front of you. Shit, we sprinting now. I loves it 100%. And so she said, listen, if you don't have any money to give or stock to share, fire for email. You could fire for email today. You could hit them up on Twitter. Hit up your city council persons on Twitter. You can hit them up on Facebook. Get in their DMs. Hit them up in them DMs. Say, listen, I just heard Rosemary on Nathan Ivey Show. I think it's a great idea. I want you to know. I think you should support this project. Boom, there it is. While they might not even respond, and they should respond with at least a thank you. But even if they don't respond, they're gonna see it, and it's gonna have some kind of impact on them, whether you know it or not. It's gonna have an impact. You fire off an email or fire off a phone call, it's going to register. Now, whether you're going to be able to see it from the outside, it's going to register because they're human. That's how human beings work. So very interesting. I appreciate her time this morning. I appreciate it. Again, anybody that's doing something positive for us, our community, I'm with it. I'm with the business. So again, rosemariesbabies.co. If you want to learn more about it. Again, go to her website, check it out. She got a lot of plans there. You can see what they've been doing so far. Make your own decision. I don't hear no problem. I can't see any problems with it. Now, if you live in Avondale near that site, I believe you have every right to voice your opinion, whatever it may be. But I don't live in Avondale. But if I live near that site and I had an opinion about it, that's valid because you live there. I get that. But it's still got to be based in some kind of logical fact and something that makes some damn sense. You just can't be having these absurd fantasies about teen pregnancy. How does that promote teen pregnancy because you're helping teens that are already pregnant? I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It just don't compute. But we are living in the last days of common sense, my friend. So there's a lot of shit that don't make sense these days. We just got to roll with it. Brent Wright said, life gives you lemons, squeeze it back in life's eyes. Is that right? That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Again, I heard about it many years ago. I jumped on. I thought it was a great idea. I still don't see any problems. And it sounds like they forced her to level up. And that's when somebody's on some real ish and they built with the right kind of stuff, because some people deal with a little bit of headwind and they crumble. They don't know what to do. They get caught up in their sorrow. I ain't gonna be able to do it. And some people, they step up. And it sounds like Rosemary stepped up. I'm with it. I loves it. Listen, I want to make sure that you know that today's show is brought to you in part by the Mother's Day All You Can Eat Southern Swank event. It is on Mother's Day. This is going to be an awesome experience for the mother in your life. It's on Mother's Day from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can register and purchase your tickets online. There's a link in today's description. You can also go out to Wing Champs. Liz Rogers, executive chef, will be taking care of all of the cuisine. She got you covered. I'm not going to run through the whole list of everything that's on the menu. Hit the link. You can read it for yourself. Live performance by Just Vince. Your mother-in-law, the woman that blessed you with a child, or a mother that's in your life, right? This will be an awesome event. Get your tickets. They are going quickly. They're going to the cutoff day is Saturday. So you can't purchase tickets on Sunday morning. Cutoff day is Saturday. I want to make sure you got a few days left. And thank me. You'll thank me later. Trust me. An awesome event. Now, I don't know what you normally do for the mother in your life, but this might be something a little bit different. Life is all about experiences, right? So check it out. Link is in today's description. That is a Black-owned event as well. For folks that want to recycle our dollars, I know I'm cognizant of that kind of shit. I know I want my money to go back to us. I don't know about you, but let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. It's Kev on the cell.
What up, Kev on the cell? Good morning, sir.
So, man, I'm a little taken aback about this election. A lot of people didn't really show out as much as you would expect, especially since there's supposed to be this wave coming. I heard Drop earlier.
Right.
Drop, you should be concerned that your wave looks more like a little bit of a ripple. Your party is the one that's supposed to be so excited to come out and vote right now, and I didn't see anticipation from anybody. So, I think there are a lot of conclusions that are being drawn. There are statements that are being made that I don't know, man. I'm like, okay, there's 11 million people in Ohio, and you turn out a little bit less than 1 million people to vote, and you're supposed to be in the midst of some wave. I don't know. In Hamilton County, there's like uh, uh, 1.8, 1.3, or 1.5 million people in Hamilton County, and out of the 1.5 million people in Hamilton County, you can only draw out 80,000 votes. I don't hear any waves, and I think people are using numbers and using things to say things that aren't true. JD Vance got 357,000 votes total. That's pretty good. I mean, I can't really knock him. If he get everybody else to fall in line, then the Democrats will probably need 1 million and one person to beat him as a candidate. Again, just be very careful of everything that you're hearing and you're seeing. We do need to make sure that we are absolutely out there. I am so afraid right now of the current environment, because the Republican folks are making it sound as though they're making these amazing and impressive gains, and I always tell you, I'm for the best candidate available, whether it be independent, Republican, or Democrat. Doesn't make any difference for me. But I do know that the agenda that the folks that call themselves conservatives and Republicans are putting forward is really regressive, and it kind of threatens particularly us as a people. When I say us, I mean Africans throughout the diaspora. So just be careful out there, folks. Don't get discouraged. Again, each one take 3. I only took 2. I apologize. I only took 2 to the primary. So I got to make sure that I take 3 to the general election. I did take 3 last time. But yeah, don't get discouraged, and then you make sure that you're reaching out. This is not a joke or a game. These people are literally telling us that if they get into power, if they fully get into power, we ain't got no hope. They literally are saying that, not even as a joke. They're like, you ain't even gonna get a vote on a candidate if we get enough people in the Senate and the House, right? You cannot nominate someone to the Supreme Court, because we're never gonna bring them up. We ain't never gonna bring them up. The one that Biden got is the one that Biden will get, and that's all he'll ever get. You know what I mean? So, and then as far as the other legislative agendas, things like Build Back Better and all of that stuff, all of that's dead on arrival. And I mean, they're preaching that. They're not even being like, this isn't hidden. This is like, I'll tell you straight to your face. We're going to make sure that you suffer if we can make you suffer. And we're going to make sure that the people who have money going to get more money, and they're going to get it off your back. Funniest thing, not funny, that I heard the other day was, well, prices on goods are just going to keep going up. And I don't know about you, Nathan, but I don't have an unlimited supply of money. I'm not independently wealthy. I work really hard for what I have. At some point, I'm just like, oh, Snickers is $2. Ain't gonna be getting no Snickers. McDonald's is $9. We ain't going to McDonald's. Like, you know what I'm saying? If we're gonna be out here foraging for berries and nuts, that just might be what it is. And I think these people are legitimately crazy. They think that they can just continue to raise the price on things, and people would just, I don't know, miraculously get money from nowhere and be able to continue to purchase it. That's not going to happen. That's not. If cars become too expensive, people won't buy cars. If houses become too expensive, people won't buy houses. You know what I mean? If food becomes too expensive, people will buy enough to survive. And, those things that you love to eat, you might not have. But this is real. This is very real. It's a really scary environment, and I'm not being an alarmist. I mean it. We got to make sure that we show. I had to call people yesterday, like, man, did you go vote? Did you go vote? And this is not nothing about being a new citizen either. We're gonna take that off the table, because whether you're a new citizen, an old citizen, or any citizen, you should be out there exercising your right to vote. They work really hard to make sure they suppress our vote. They work really hard to suppress the vote. You know what I mean? And so, you got to make sure that you're going out there and you're doing your civic piece, or whatever you want to call it, and make sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the posterity, bro. I think we think about ourselves a lot, but we need to really think about the children and the people, the next generation, the folks that are coming behind us, and what kind of life they'll have. Because there's some folks out here that are like, I will make it just my way. And if you go back to, 1862 or whatever, and, if you got to go out there and start sharecropping for your food or whatever it is, they're happy to see that happen. So it's still a beautiful day for a beautiful day, man. But on today's day, the message for everybody is, the bag's still out there. But in order to get it, we got to position ourselves to get it, and make sure that we are able to actually leave it to our next generation. It wasn't long ago, man, we couldn't get a bag, and we weren't allowed, literally, legally, weren't allowed to share that bag, because we were chattel. And if anybody doesn't know what chattel means we're the same thing as a dog, a horse, or a cow. You are a good, something that can be traded. You don't have rights. And there are some folk that would happily put us back in that situation. So I know I'm not giggling today like I usually am, but it's serious. You know what I mean? It's serious. It's serious. But hey, man, be blessed. Stay safe. To all my choppers out there, man, we're going to continue to keep moving forward. But let's see if we can make it where everyone's moving forward together.
I love it. All right, Kev, thanks for the call, man.
Be blessed, bro.
You do. That's Kev on to say. So, I'm not giggling today. You're on that real ish. I'm with it. He talked about finance. It reminded me of our investment club. So today's Wednesday. I'm going to reach out to Chuck today and get a sense of what he thinks the next steps may be. It might even be a follow-up virtual. I'm not sure. Our household, we've already made our decision. We think it's a great idea. We're moving forward with it. And if you still want the link to the video, we did a Zoom call last Wednesday with the people who were interested. If you want to get the link and the passcode, just hit me with either a text message, and my text number is in the link, or a direct message on Facebook, or an email. My email address is nathansflow@gmail.com, NATHANS F as in Frank, LOW @gmail.com. That's my personal email address. and I'll send you the link. You can check it out. And I love what Chuck said. He said, you should have 3 different accounts. One is an emergency fund for the emergencies that are going to happen because life happens. Second is a short-term fund because you might have a purchase, could be a car or motorcycle or whatever you're trying to purchase, furniture, refrigerator, whatever. And then long-term, that's your wealth building. And so with this investment club, it could be either one of those for you, depending on where you are. But I'm 100% about that. And even legacy, generational wealth building, depending on where you are in terms of age, you might be thinking, well, shit, maybe it's something you begin and you give it to your kids, or you put it in the name of your grandkids or whomever. Like how many people here got an inheritance? Like raise your hand, your virtual hand, if your family left you an inheritance. That's rare, especially in our community. And just imagine if you had a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, lump sum of money to get you started. You can lose anything, but if you're making smart moves, that can make the game of capitalism a little easier. You know what I'm saying? So, that's one way to think about it as well. I know there were some people that were in their 60s thinking like, well, shit, I ain't got but whatever you think you have long. Yeah, but what about your family? What about your children? You love them. Maybe it's something that you build up for them, put it in their name. So if you're interested, just follow. You can send me a direct message. Don't put it in the chat because I'm not going to see it. Email me, direct message me, or text me, and I will send it to you within the next 24 hours. And you can check it out for yourself. The presentation was about 40 minutes, but it's worth your time. It's worth your time even if you decide not to do it, quite honestly. It's worth your time, all right? And with that, my friends, I got to make a move, all right? Have an excellent rest of your day. Remember our motto: winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.